Good evening. Welcome to World News. I am Jessica Magaji Joseph. First, the headlines. Nigeria Minister stresses national policy on safety, security, and violence-free schools. Police in Guinea-Bissau seized nearly 3 tons of cocaine on plane from Venezuela. Trump-Harris to clash at debate that could reshape 2024 race. And on sports, on cricket, Cox and Bethel to make England debut v Australia. Now the news in detail. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Ali Pate, has called on wealthy individuals and civil society organizations to support communities affected by floods across the country. Pate made the call on Saturday while extending his sympathy to the victims. The minister, who also seized the occasion to extend his medical outreach to victims of the flood disaster in Bauchi State, told journalists that the visit was part of his efforts to extend the federal government's concern and sympathy to the communities ravaged by floods in the state. He explained that the emergency medical outreach was jointly sponsored by the Nigerian Medical Association, Bauchi State Chapter, in collaboration with the Chigari Foundation to assist the internally displaced persons across Misau, Katagum, and other affected local government areas in the state. The Minister of State for Education, Yusuf Tanko Sununu, has underscored the importance of implementing the national policy on safety, security, and violence-free schools and the national minimum standard for safe schools. Sununu said the guidelines are critical for maintaining consistent safety standards across educational institutions and mitigating casualties during potential attacks. He stated this at an event to create awareness about the minimum standard for safe school and discuss concrete steps to enhance school safety nationwide. The Federal Ministry of Education and the Universal Basic Education Commission organized the event in collaboration with UNICEF. Speaking, Sununu emphasized the need to use NPSS VFS and the national minimum standard to safe schools to operationalize safe school policies, noting that these guidelines are essential for ensuring consistent safety across educational institutions, thereby reducing casualties during imminent attacks. Hamid Boboyi, the Executive Secretary of UBEC, re-emphasized the collective responsibility in safeguarding education. The Director General and Chief Executive of the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, Chukwuemeka Woke, has expressed the agency's dedication to implementing the federal government's directives regarding the personnel management system framework for civil servants. Woke made this statement during a 2-day workshop on the implementation of the PMS framework for the agencies of the Federal Ministry of Environment held recently in Abuja. He outlined NOSDRA's pivotal role as a leading agency under the Federal Ministry of Environment, particularly in addressing oil spills and pollution across the nation, with a special emphasis on the Niger Delta region. The Director General also noted the workshop's timely relevance and highlighted the primary mandate of NOSDRA and its alignment with the PMS framework. He underscored the importance of this framework for the professional development of agency staff. When we return, news from other parts of Africa. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Police in Guinea-Bissau seized 2.6 tons of cocaine from a plane that arrived from Venezuela in the West African country's capital, Bissau, over the weekend, Judicial Police said on Monday. The agent confiscated 78 bales of drugs that were smuggled in on a Gulfstream IV aircraft during a raid on Saturday afternoon at Bissau's International Airport, the police said in a statement. The crew of 5, which includes 2 Mexican nationals as well as citizens of Colombia, Ecuador, and Brazil, were arrested, including the pilot. Cocaine seizures are becoming increasingly common in West Africa. The region has become a key transit hub for drugs from Latin America and Southwest Asia, destined for Europe, according to a UN report released earlier this year. Residents say they watched militia men go door to door, hunting down civilian men in non-Arab neighborhoods as the town's army barracks were captured. The massacre, in which at least 73 civilians were killed, was led by commandants from the Rapid Support Forces, the paramilitary group currently engaged in a conflict with Sudan's military. In the 16 months since the RSF first began their bloody war with the Sudanese army, their military advances across the Darfur region have often been marked by mass ethnic violence. This is the first time visual evidence has emerged which shows militiamen linked to the RSF directly involved in the extrajudicial killings of unarmed civilians. Survivors say the attackers hurled racial slurs at times as they looted their homes and slaughtered young men. We move to other parts of the world after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. More than 40 people were killed in an Israeli strike on a crowded designated humanitarian safe zones for displaced Palestinians in Gaza on Tuesday. It has been reported that at least 4 missiles hit the tent encampment of Al-Mawasi near Khan Yunis in the early hours of the morning. The attack, which wounded at least 60 others, set tents ablaze and left several craters as deep as 9 meters. Israel said it targeted what it claims was a significant number of Hamas militants operating in the area. The group has denied Israeli allegations that gunmen were present at the strip of land along the coastline, calling it a blatant lie. Neither Israel nor Hamas provided evidence to substantiate their claims. The Ukrainian President's Chief of Staff said on Tuesday that imposing sanctions on Iran for supplying Moscow with ballistic missiles was not enough and that allies should allow Kyiv to carry out strikes deep into Russia using Western weapons. The United States will announce new sanctions on Iran after the Islamic Republic shipped ballistic missiles to Russia despite warnings from the West, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said during a visit to London. Blinken said Russia was expected to use the missiles in its war in Ukraine in the coming weeks. Republican U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump and Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris will meet in their first and perhaps only debate on Tuesday, a clash that could prove pivotal in their pitched battle for the White House. The ABC News hosted debate at 9 p.m. takes place just 8 weeks before the November 5th election, with both candidates locked in a tight race that could still easily swing in either direction. Early voting will start in some states just days after the debate. The encounter is particularly important for Harris, with opinion polls showing that more than a quarter of likely voters feel they do not yet know enough about her, in contrast to the well-known Trump. The nationally televised debate also offers Harris, a former prosecutor, a chance to make her case against Trump, whose felony convictions outspoken backing for supporters convicted for the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol and frequent falsehood all offer plenty of fertile ground. It will be the first time the two candidates have met and follow weeks of personal attacks on Harris by Trump and his allies that have included racist and sexist insults. Up next is business. Please stay with us.
This is Hillstv.
Welcome back. And on business news, Indian Foreign Minister Jaishankar says not close to business from China. India is not close to business from China. But the issue is in which sectors the country does business with Beijing and on what terms, Foreign Minister Subrahmanyam Jaishankar said in Berlin on Tuesday. Ties between the nuclear-armed Asian giants have been strained since clashes between their troops on their largely undemarcated Himalayan frontier left 20 Indian and 4 Chinese soldiers dead in 2020. India subsequently tightened its scrutiny of investment from Chinese companies and halted major projects. However, government officials, including Finance Minister Nirmala, have recently backed suggestions to allow more Chinese investment in the country. Still to come, sports. Please stay with us.
This is Hillstv.
Welcome back. And on sports news, Captain Harry Kane will become just the 10th man to make 100 England appearances when the Three Lions face Finland in the Nations League at Wembley on Tuesday. The 31-year-old made his debut in 2015 and is the country's all-time top scorer with 66 goals in 99 games. Bayern Munich striker Kane will become the first person since Wayne Rooney in November 2014 to earn a 100 cap for England. Rooney went on to earn 120 caps, putting him second on the all-time appearance list behind former goalkeeper Peter Shilton. The others to have surpassed the century of appearances are David Beckham, Steven Gerrard, Bobby Moore, Ashley Cole, Bobby Charlton, and Billy Wright. Batter Jordan Cox and 20-year-old batting all-rounder Jacob Bethel will make their England debut in the first T20 against Australia on Wednesday in Southampton. Jamie Overton will also play his first T20 for England, adding to his one test cap, which comes against New Zealand in 2022. Bowler Saqib Mahmood makes his first England appearance since March 2023, having overcome a second stress fracture in his back. 3 T20s against Australia, followed by the 5 one-day internationals with England, picking a youthful squad as they look to the future after relinquishing their T20 and 50-over world titles in the past 10 months. Marcus will act as interim coach throughout the series following the departure of Matthew Mott earlier this summer. Brendan McCullum has been appointed permanent head coach, combining the white ball role with his job in charge of the test side, but does not start the role until the new year. British men's #1 rapper produced the best performance of his career by reaching the last 4 in New York. His run came to an end when he lost to Italian world #1 Jannik Sinner, who went on to win the title in the semi-finals on Friday. Draper was sick on court during the match, afterwards putting that down to psychological stress of the occasion. The British team without Andy Murray for the first time since his recent retirement has a different feel for the Davis Cup Finals group stage event. Dan Evans and Neil Skupski, who memorably teamed up to secure a bonkers double victory, which put Britain through to the 8-team knockout stage in Manchester last year, remain in the squad alongside Draper and provide experience. And that's the sport news on World News. We move to the rest of the news after this break.
This is Hillstv. Quality broadcasting is what we'll bring to you. Now we be this
Hillstv, Polka.
Welcome back. And now to the rest of the news. Shigeru Ishiba, the former Japanese defense minister running in the ruling party's leadership race, said on Tuesday that a complete exit from deflation is a crucially important task for the country. The LDP's parliamentary control means its leader becomes the Prime Minister of Japan. Ishiba's comments are meant to counter speculation that he is more focused on fiscal discipline than economic growth, a ruling party source close to Ishiba thinking said. Japan, saddled with the industrial world's heaviest debt at more than twice the size of its economy, has pledged to deliver a primary budget surplus by the next fiscal year. But calls for more spending are expected to grow as the LDP leadership race is likely to be followed by a snap parliament election. And that's world news, but before we go, here are the headlines again. We told you that the Nigerian minister stresses national policy on safety, security and violence-free schools. Police in Guinea-Bissau seized nearly 3 tons of cocaine on plane from Venezuela. Trump-Harris to clash at debates that could reshape 2024 race. And on sports, on cricket, Cox and Bethel to make England debut v Australia. Remember to visit us on Facebook at Hillstv Abuja, Instagram at Hillstv Abuja, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Hillstv. I am Jessica Magaji Joseph. Thanks for watching.